as the Kansas City Chiefs look to knock the New England Patriots off their perch this Sunday in the AFC Championship game. As the clock ticks down on the MVP, Patrick Mahomes, trying to navigate his way past one of sport's greatest ever dynasties and into the Super Bowl, the cameras will suddenly turn to the skies, with around 2 minutes to go in Kansas City, amid the icy chill of an expected Arctic blast that will likely cover Arrowhead Stadium in snow for the second week running. The moon will suddenly become the main attraction, not just any moon, but its super blood wolf moon. While that may sound like the latest book in the Twilight series or a particularly ferocious craft ale, the real reason people will be looking to the heavens is for a rare lunar eclipse that will see a bumper-sized crimson-colored moon disappear as it passes through the Earth's shadow. It will be the first total lunar eclipse visible in its entirety across the USA since 2010. Created with Sketch. The 2018 NFL season was full of fireworks as ever Tom Brady guided New England into the playoffs once again. J.J. Watt enjoyed another fine year for the Texans. Matt Ryan couldn't save the Falcons' season. Saquon Barkley was sensational in his first season in New York. Denver failed to make the playoffs. Rookie Baker Mayfield shone for Cleveland. Larry Fitzgerald continued to roll back the years. Chicago showcased a new-look offense. James Conner deputized for Le'Veon Bell in fine style in Pittsburgh. John Gruden had a season to forget in Oakland. The Seahawks earned a wild card in the NFC West. The Steelers missed out on the postseason at the very last. George Kittle shattered records in San Francisco. The Seahawks couldn't beat the Cowboys in the wild card round. Ezekiel Elliott was outstanding once again for Dallas. The Ravens roared into the playoffs. Lamar Jackson became Baltimore's quarterback of the future. Cody Parkey's missed field goal cost the Bears' year. Andrew Luck couldn't beat the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes authored one of the best seasons in history. The Chiefs earned the best record in the AFC. Todd Gurley led the Rams to the playoffs. New England once again played host to a playoff game. Philip Rivers helped the Chargers back to the postseason. Brady turned on the old magic to help the Pats beat the Bolts. Michael Thomas was a force for the Saints. Drew Brees ended the Nick Foles fairy tale in NOLA. The 2018 NFL season was full of fireworks as ever Tom Brady guided New England into the playoffs once again. J.J. Watt enjoyed another fine year for the Texans. Matt Ryan couldn't save the Falcons' season. Saquon Barkley was sensational in his first season in New York. Denver failed to make the playoffs. Rookie Baker Mayfield shone for Cleveland. Larry Fitzgerald continued to roll back the years. Chicago showcased a new-look offense. James Conner deputized for Le'Veon Bell in fine style in Pittsburgh. John Gruden had a season to forget in Oakland. The Seahawks earned a wild card in the NFC West. The Steelers missed out on the postseason at the very last. George Kittle shattered records in San Francisco. The Seahawks couldn't beat the Cowboys in the wild card round. Ezekiel Elliott was outstanding once again for Dallas. The Ravens roared into the playoffs. Lamar Jackson became Baltimore's quarterback of the future. Cody Parkey's missed field goal cost the Bears' year. Andrew Luck couldn't beat the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes authored one of the best seasons in history. The Chiefs earned the best record in the AFC. Todd Gurley led the Rams to the playoffs. New England once again played host to a playoff game. Philip Rivers helped the Chargers back to the postseason. Brady turned on the old magic to help the Pats beat the Bolts. Michael Thomas was a force for the Saints. Drew Brees ended the Nick Foles fairy tale in NOLA. Why is that relevant to the playoffs? Well, because matchups like the ones this weekend only pop up once in a blue moon. The MVP against the GOAT. The unstoppable force against a force unstoppable. Perhaps most importantly, both the NFC Championship game and the AFC Championship games will feature clearly the best two teams from each conference after the first couple of weeks of the playoffs went off. With few surprises, that is sometimes a bad thing, with the helter-skelter ride of the postseason and the one-and-done nature of its games provoking such drama and heartbreak when compared to the multi-game series favored by other American sports. But that also sometimes allows weaker teams to sneak through. While this season we have the best four battling it out for a place in the Super Bowl. It is, in short, as championship weekend should be. Few could question the Los Angeles Rams and New Orleans Saints as the distant top two of the high-quality NFC this season, and similarly the Chiefs and Patriots have obviously been the best couple of teams in a slightly weaker, transitioning AFC. Perhaps it is fitting, too, that this AFC Championship game may prove to be a transitioning of power from one dynasty to another. Patrick Mahomes has led the Chiefs to the championship game. USA Today Sports. What Patrick Mahomes has done in Kansas City this season was so remarkable from the first week to the last that people have almost lost sight of how special he has been, but we shouldn't fall into that trap of glossing over superstardom. At 23, in his first full campaign, he has put together the best season ever seen by a Chiefs quarterback, and it's not particularly close. He became only the second QB of all time to throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in a season. Once again, it was his first as a starter. Mahomes could be the face of the NFL for the next decade, not just eminently watchable as a quarterback, but someone who you simply can't take your eyes off, a player that makes your jaw drop. In just his second season as a professional, Mahomes has been the league's best player and will, barring a shock, be crowned the MVP at NFL Honors Night on the eve of the Super Bowl in Atlanta. He hopes to be there anyway as a contender, but first he must navigate his way past a Patriots defensive unit coached by the greatest of his generation, Bill Belichick, and an offense helmed by five-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady. The Chiefs are favorites, with home advantage and their explosive play all season making them a popular pick. Nobody ever wants to write off the Pats though, not with their record in the playoffs, not with an all-time great quarterback and head coach. Indeed, in Brady's 17 healthy career seasons he has guided the Pats to the AFC Championship game 13 times. That record speaks of a player who shows up when the lights are brightest and one who we know will perform. Mahomes faces the biggest game of his career against an all-time great team coming to the end of its cycle. How close that end is will be more clearly defined on Sunday night. There is no denying that this isn't a vintage Patriots team though. Rob Gronkowski has been a key difference maker for this team when it matters over the years, but his powers are clearly on the wane. Trading away Brandon Cooks last year and losing Josh Gordon has deprived Brady's wide receiver core of genuinely game-breaking speed. Defensively and on the offensive line they rely on scheme to mask a deficiency of talent, and yet that shouldn't really be a negative. Being one of the best coached teams in the league shouldn't count against the Pats. It just makes you wonder if some of their players can continue to perform above their natural level, elevated by a gaggle of Hall of Famers on the field and the sideline. Up against the Chiefs, who pose such a unique threat, Belichick will need to be at his best. Fortunately for those in New England, Belichick has a favorable record against the permanently unlucky Andy Reid, and particularly so in the postseason. Reid has arguably never coached a team this strong though, so full of talent and so clearly dominant. His offensive play calling this season has tested the limits of what people expect in the NFL. Mahomes has tested the limits of what people thought possible in the NFL, and in Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, the Chiefs boast two elite playmakers. That's a frightening recipe. How they use Hill, a devastatingly speedy receiver who has sneakily emerged as one of the league's best, and Kelce will likely define this matchup. Hill is used in pre-snap motion to keep opposition defenses honest, reveal play calls and isolate men in coverage. Stacking the speedster Hill on top of a matchup nightmare in Kelce provides opponents with impossible decisions. Who do you follow? How do you cope with Hill's raw speed? How can you muscle out somebody like Kelce? Tom Brady led the Patriots to victory over the Chargers. Reuters. The Patriots' strategy will almost certainly be to try and force Mahomes to check down on offense, offering him short yardage gains while on the other side of the ball committing to a rushing attack that stretches Kansas City's questionable defense. Sony Michel, James White and James Devlin will play crucial roles in the running game if the Patriots are to win, while Chris Jones is going to have to dominate at the line of scrimmage to stop that ground game from being established. With so many moving parts, this game promises to be a fascinating matchup between two brilliant teams capable of the extraordinary. It is the sort of game that comes around once in a blue moon, and while the cameras may turn to the skies as we draw to a conclusion, this is not the sort of postseason encounter you'll be able to take your eyes off. Keep up to date with all the latest transfer news, rumors and done deals throughout the January window.